Hello guys, welcome to the 8th video of our Python playlist, and in this video we will discuss tuples. Tuples is basically a multi-value storing variable in Python. A tuple is unchangeable. The value inside a tuple cannot be changed and it is ordered. So to define a tuple, we should have, for example, s is a variable for a tuple, and I should give some values: green, red, and yellow. Alright, so this is how we can assign some values in a tuple. The problem with the tuple is that we cannot change the tuple, and tuple is ordered. So to print a tuple, we can just use the print statement and write s over here. So you guys can see that green, red, and yellow is printed. A tuple can be singled value also, but if we write simply green over here, this will not work. And if I print the tuple s, so you guys can see that just green is printed. It is not printed as a tuple. So to make this a tuple, we have to write comma at the end. And if you guys can see that now it is printed as a tuple. Now, how to find the length of a tuple? That is very simple. We just have to write print len, and here we have write s. So if we print this now, so you guys can see that 3 is printed as the length of a tuple. Tuple can be created by using a tuple constructor also. So let me take a variable t, and I have write tuple, and inside this I have to provide the list of values. So let me write, for example, Jason, Steve, and Mark over here. So you guys can see if I print the t now, so this t is also a tuple. So how we can print the range of values? So let me write this green, yellow, and red, also part of the tuple, the latest tuple that I created with the name t. And for example, I want to print the first 3 values. So for that I have write print t, and here I have to do colon, and for the first 3, so we have to write 3 over here. What will happen? Index position 0, index position 1, and index position 2. This means 3 values will be printed. Third index value will not be printed, and other values after the third index will not be printed. So if I run this function, if I run this statement now, so you guys can see that print that Java, Steve, and Mark is printed. The printing in range is same in tuple, just like in list. And if I want to print the last some values, for example, last 2 values, so I have to write -2 colon nothing. And if I print this now, so you guys can see that red and yellow is printed. And if I want to print, for example, from third last value to the second last value, so for that I have write print t, and third last means -3, and second and last will be ignored. So for that I have written -1. And if I print this, so you guys can see green and red is printed. Moreover, if I want to check whether a name or whatever the value is present inside a tuple or not, so for that we will use the conditional statement. So we have write if, and I should write Jason nt. So what will happen? It will print Jason is present. So Jason is present is printed over here. Now what if we want to change some values inside a tuple. So for that we have to convert tuple into a list by using list function, list constructor, and we have write t over here. If I print tuple here, first print t and print t over here. So here you guys can see that values are printed as a tuple, and here the values are printed as a list. So now we can use the list functions, for example, t dot append, and here I should write, for example, 3, and if I print this back, so you guys can see that 3 has been added inside the list. And now what can we do? We can basically convert the list back to the tuple. So for that we have to just write t is equal to tuple, and here we will provide the previous list. So if I run this now, so you guys can see that tuple is printed. Now this list is converted into the tuple. Alright. Now the last and interesting thing in a tuple is that if I want to assign some values in a tuple to some variables. So let me take this tuple over here again. And if I want, so you guys can see that here there are 3 values inside this tuple. So there can be 2 type of things. One is that if the values are less, so we can assign those values to the same number of variables. For example, I can write here G, S, T, and here I should write equal to S. And if I will print the value of G, so what will happen? G, that the value of G and green is written. I should print the tuple S over here also. So now you guys can see that the value of G is green, and if I write the same sentence but S over here and S over here again, the same statement with T and T over here. So if I run this, so you guys can see green, red, yellow is printed over here. Alright. Now the problem is that if I assign some more values over here, another thing of tuple is that there can be repetition of values. So if I will run this statement now, I have added some more values in the tuple S, but I didn't change anything else. So if I run this now, it will generate an error. It is saying too many values to unpack. So for that, what we can do, basically G and S will hold one value, and T is supposed to hold one value. So if I write static with a variable, either it can be T, either it can be S, either it can be G, but only one variable. So what will happen, that the remaining of the values will be stored in the variable T as form of a list. So if I run this now, so first 2 values, green and red, are assigned to G and S, and all the remaining value will be assigned to the variable T. So the type of the variable T is list now. So if I replace this with S is now the variable which will have the remaining of the values. So what will happen in this case? The variable G will get green, the variable T will get yellow, and the remaining from red to red will be assigned to S. So you guys can see from red to red, all the values are assigned to S, and this green come from here to G, and the yellow come to here from this yellow. So that's all for this video. I hope you guys got some concepts regarding some operations regarding a tuple. So an important thing regarding tuple is that to update anything inside the tuple, we should have to convert our tuple into a list. So see you guys until the next video. Take care. Goodbye.